So, continuing with Mother's Prayers and Meditations, week 20 we are at. And today we have March 12, 1914 with us. A very simple, short prayer, but again, as Mother's prayers are telling the essence of everything, crux of the matter. So, let us read this prayer first and then we will share our reflections. So, would anyone like to go ahead and read it for all of us?
Yeah, Monica, I'll read.
Yes, please, Shardaji.
Yeah. March 12, 1914. O Lord, my one aspiration is to know Thee and serve Thee better every day. What do outer circumstances matter? They seem to me each day more vain and illusory, and I take less and less interest in what is going to happen to us in the outer life. But more and more, I am intensely interested in the one thing which seems important to me, to know Thee better in order to serve Thee better. All outer events must converge upon this goal and this goal alone. And for that, all depends upon the attitude we have towards them. To seek Thee constantly in all things, to want to manifest Thee ever better in every circumstance, in this attitude lies supreme peace, perfect serenity, true contentment. In it, life blossoms, widens, expands so magnificently in such majestic waves that no storm can any longer disturb it. O Lord, Thou art our safeguard, our only happiness. Thou art our resplendent light, our pure love, our hope and our strength. Thou art our life, the reality of our being. In a relevant and joyful adoration, I bow to Thee. Thank you.
Thank you, Shardaji. Yeah, so would anyone like to share anything on the prayer? Anything that comes up as we go through it? Okay, so I'll go ahead and please, if there are any insights, any reflections, unmute at any point of time and share. So I think, as always, Mother is setting our compass right. We often lose direction in life time to time. Other things become so overwhelming, outer stuff becomes so important. That person, this circumstance, that country, that workplace, power, respect, position, family dynamics, everything becomes so important that we lose the alignment why we are here at all. What is the purpose of me being human? So this is very helpful because since we live in ignorance and forgetfulness, it is very good to remind ourselves what is the purpose after all of this journey, human journey. So Mother sets our inner compass right, that it doesn't matter at all what is happening in the outer situations. And Mother says like it doesn't matter. So she's not categorizing this situation is more important or that. It just doesn't matter. So she says, my aspiration is to know Thee and serve Thee better every day. Now, as we say Thee, it's also important how we look at that. So, what is Thee or divine for me? And as we have read, have we have reflected, we have heard, divine has several names. And one name that mother herself pointed at is perfection or progress. So if you can't relate with the word divine, that my aspiration is to know divine, so how to go about it? The other idea is also to go towards more and more beauty, more and more perfection, more and more harmony, light, joy. These are all divine. So love, more and more love. So my aspiration is to know thee and serve thee better every day. So in whatever work we are involved, either it's a family work, homely stuff, or whether it's a workplace scenario in the social conditions, how can I serve people better? Or how can I serve the situation better so that it benefits everyone? So I'm not working that mujhe kya milega, what would I get out of situation? The attitude is completely transformed, that how can I benefit the situation? How can I offer my presence to this situation? Not looking at my own satisfaction coming through the situation. So mother says, what do outer circumstances matter? Now, when we are living with this attitude of serving and self-giving, then I'm my demands are all at bay. I'm not looking ki what will I get out of this work, this relationship. What do I get out of this relationship? See, my expectations are still unfulfilled. That is just not matter. That is not a matter of interest at all now. So, what do outer circumstances matter? They seem to me each day more vain and illusory. So, vain is something which is futile. Why to put your head into that? And illusory because we see with our distorted perceptions. So, whatever I'm thinking about a situation, it will always be a distortion unless I gain more and more realization of my true self. We always are looking at things and people and life situations, our own past that has happened. We always have a very, very distorted image of these things in our head. So it's better not to believe in these thoughts that from time to time arise. So mother says that outer situations, whatever comes up, this seem to me more vain and illusory, and I take less and less interest in what is going to happen to us in the outer life. But more and more, I am intensely interested in one thing which seems important to me, to know thee better and in order to serve thee better. So now, if we look at this attitude, there is no uh, really any point in just knowing about what's happening in the world and this and that, what's happening in Bollywood, Hollywood. So one slowly seems to lose interest. One may still read it, go through it, but one is not overtly interested in knowing these matters. Usually, as we are, that the first cup of tea has to have with, what's happening in the world. Without that, we cannot settle ourselves. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that, but just this new attitude that mother brings, that is also our possibility. So I take, because what matters, if we really truly take the highest possible attitude that mother shows us, more and more I am intensely interested in one thing which seems important to me, to know thee better in order to serve thee better. Now, how to know the divine better? This cannot be known just by reading or just by philosophizing. Enough has been said about this, that pothi pad pad jag mua, pandit bhaya na koi. That you may read scriptures and Vedas and Upanishads, but that doesn't make you a true scholar. What makes you a true scholar? When you open the doors of your heart and touch your true essence. Live from that. And our true essence is love. So without that, there is no point just going upon philosophizing and just random intellectualizations about these issues. So to know the better, self-realization is not a luxury. We can't postpone it, saying that only a few people have the courage or determination or maybe even fate, that only they have to self realize and we just can be ordinary beings. If we say that, then we are just postponing our own inner truth. So mother gives priority to the thing which is most prior, not only for mother here as she takes human birth, she's showing the path for a normal human being. How do we go ahead in this journey towards the unification with the divine? So giving things proper priority. We may say that for me, this is important, self-realization or knowing the divine within is very important. We may say, but if we look at our day, we will be, I think it will be a good picture of where we are. To me, what is important and what is not important. So I think we have to go by facts. And mother says to know thee in order to serve thee. So if I want to serve the divine, I have to have the knowing, the practical realization of the divine. Because how would I know what the divine wants? This is often a very big confusion in our lives, that I want to work by the divine will, but how do I know what is the divine will? Now this can't be known if I don't connect deep, deep, deep in myself, beyond the layers of thoughts, feelings, and sense perceptions. Nobody else can do that for me. I have to do that for myself. People can guide us, give us hint, pointers, maybe some practices can be recommended, stay with your breath, bring the mind to a stillness, go deep into yourself, but nobody else can do it for us. Doctors can give us prescription, but they cannot eat the medicine for us. But what we do is that we take prescriptions, but we don't have a discipline in taking the medicine. And then we think that nothing much has changed. So I don't know still what is the divine will. So in order to know what is the divine will, I have to connect with the divine within, because the divine will unfolds for each person in a different way. There is no formula to the divine will. So to know thee better so that I can serve thee better. That's the only thing that matters when we are in this state of poise in the being. So, in whatever circumstance, whether I have a job, I don't have a job, I have a relationship, I'm going through a trouble in the relationship, my children are not listening to me, I have bodily issues, diseases are there, countries are being changed, I'm not in a place where I wanted to be, I'm not in Pondicherry, for example. So, all these things are just secondary. Where am I inwardly? That's what matters. All outer events must converge upon this goal and this goal alone. So, in the sense that if there is any outer situation, the only goal that I have is how to know the divine better, how to serve the divine better through any outer circumstance, whether it's a job, anything, everything included. How to have beauty, harmony, love, perfection, stepping back from the ego, becoming conscious of the ego patterns. So through whatever activity that I am engaged in throughout the day, I can have this inner attitude throughout. So the outer events must converge upon this goal and this goal alone. There is no other importance of outer goals. In itself, no outer goal is important. But the outer goal can be a means for me to know the divine better, and like a practical battle, like a field, practice field, to know the divine and to serve the divine. I remember there is this anecdote by Meher Baba's devotees, that what he used to do was that maybe he asks the devotees to maybe construct something, build a building or something, that maybe we have to make use of it, and there we build an ashram or something. And a very interesting thing would happen, that when the building was only maybe say half through or 60%, 70%, he would say abandon the work. The work has been accomplished. And those of us who are working from the logical mind, that analytical mind, finding reasons all the time, they would be agitated that how can this happen, but we troubled ourselves for 70% of the work, and now he says that nothing doing, the work is over, you can abandon the work. But for a bhakta, for a person who is in a true sense doing it with the right attitude, he knows that if the avatar or the divine has said that this is it, then this is it. So it is a test for my patience. It is a test for my devotion. It is a test of my faith towards the Guru. And in another anecdotes, I remember maybe coming from Buddhism, Milarepa, maybe we have heard of it. So his teacher would give him stuff to make, and when with lots of labor he would make the stuff, he would just ask him to abandon that, completely dismantle the work like some building something, and do it again. And he would do it like 100 times, and they say that these repetitive uh, kind of ways to serve the master without asking a question actually negated Milarepa of all the previous accumulated negative karma that he had from the previous lifetimes. So he was cutting off his karmas by being in devotion, by being in the right attitude, that I may be doing the outer work, but the outer work doesn't matter. Where am I inwardly? Am I in union with the divine? Am I again and again uniting myself with the divine inwardly? So whether the outer building completes, doesn't complete, doesn't matter. The inner work is the most important stuff that we have to be aware of. So, this is very important when we go through in life. Maybe the child is not getting married, or I am not getting a job, my disease is not healing. All that is totally secondary. Am I growing in consciousness through all these? There was a person who was, we were talking about getting to get married or not to get married, and I was talking to her that it doesn't matter, whether you get married. The idea is, crux is growth of consciousness. If you don't get married, the idea is growth of consciousness. So we can be either married or unmarried, and yet we cannot grow in consciousness. Like we can, just be totally sticking to our egoistic patterns, or we can either be here or there and grow in consciousness. So how does it matter whether I'm married or not married, have children, not children, having job, not job? All these become very, very secondary then. And for that, all depends upon the attitude we have towards them. So what we were talking about, that what is the attitude with which I approach anything? Is this an attitude of, okay, there is a situation in front, okay, let us see what are we going to learn, how can we offer our presence and benefit to whatever is the situation? That's one way. Or the other way that usually we are in is that what can this situation give to me? That's the usual process that we take, because it's a hungry ego. It's like a sense of lack that we are living from. So every situation we are just wanting, mere ko kya milega, what am I getting through this relationship or work or anything? And if I am not getting, then I become disappointed, but I never care to give myself in that area. So it all depends upon the attitude we have towards them, towards the outer situations, to seek thee constantly in all things, to want to manifest thee ever better in every circumstance. In this attitude lies supreme peace, perfect serenity, true contentment. This reminds me of a very famous couplet by Kabir. He says, चाह गई चिंता गई, चाह मिटी चिंता गई, मनवा बेपरवाह, जिनको कछु नहीं चाहिए, वो शाहन के शाह. So he says that now I have no desires left, and because of my desirelessness, I don't have any worries left. So चाह गई चिंता मिटी. Chinta is worries, concerns. Everything concerns us so much. So once I became desireless, my worries and anxieties all went away. Manwa beparwa, and my mind became a free bird. It wasn't glued or tied in bondage to anything. जिनको कछु नहीं चाहिए वो शाहन के शाह. So who is a true king? A true king is the one who doesn't want anything from this material existence anymore, who has gotten perfectly disenchanted that nothing from this material world can give me true contentment. And what can give us true contentment? Mother tells us this self giving, self offering, surrender, samarpan in whatever outer circumstance we are. How can I offer myself in this situation? Knowing that the world can never satiate my hunger, only divine can satiate the hunger. So, in this attitude, this now makes the mind peaceful, because the mind is not hankering after the outer stuff which is still unfulfilled, which has not yet happened. And when will it happen? And then I will be in some peace. We always postpone our peace. That when that stuff will happen, then I will be peaceful. And if that stuff completes, somebody else, something else arrives in our life. So another thing to make us restless. So, Mother says that here in this attitude lies supreme peace, perfect serenity, true contentment. So, you're working from a sense of abundance rather than a sense of lack. No? So, again, when we are stepping into abundance and not working from sense of lack, it means I'm stepping back from the ego zone, because the ego always is unfulfilled, always hungry, always empty, and always wanting to complete itself. So when we step back, irrespective of the unfulfilled desire, keeping them at just bay, yeah, they may be there, but they are not important. When we do that, then what happens is, then we step into abundance, and divine is full abundance. So we step into that well of abundance within, the source of abundance within, where everything is okay, even if the outer circumstances may be this or that, or maybe seemingly not okay. The inner work is continually happening. In it, life blossoms. So for those of us, who are looking forward to a blossoming of life, in it, in this attitude, life blossoms, widens and expands so magnificently in such majestic waves that no storm can any longer disturb it. Because all storms are external storms, or external has triggered something internal. But when we take anything as a means to a progress, our perfection, then even storms, when they come, so-called outer storms, they actually benefit us on the path, because the so-called seemingly outward storms, they make our union even more perfect with the inner Godhead. And they tell us that no matter what can happen in the outer circumstance, this inner work is most important. And usually we have seen that, especially when we are in challenging situations, we do really good. We unite much intensely with the inner presence. O Lord, thou art our safeguard, our only happiness. Thou art our resplendent light, our pure love, our hope and our strength. Thou art our life, the reality of our being. So there is nothing but the divine. So even in those persons which I may not like, I have to see only the divine. And then I'll be shown the path to progress even through that person. In a reverent and joyful adoration, I bow to thee. So there is one short video clip today that I want to share. It's a teaching. Uh, since we were talking here of to know thee better and to or in order to serve thee better. So it's something regarding this, but I'll play it just after taking up any reflections if they are there. Yeah, anyone, anything? Okay, so I'll play in that case if there is nothing. So it's a teaching by Thich Khan, and a child, and he is a person, he used to welcome children in his retreats. It's not usually very common, because usually it is said that avoid children in the retreats, but he used to welcome children in the retreat, and there would be other disciples or people around who would be taking care while parents are maybe busy with the schedules, and even children would be a part of his mindfulness retreats. So a child asks, what is God? And let us hear what he says.
I think that God is everything. God is everything. And certainly, God is not an idea or a notion. God is very real. And you can get in touch with God if you are mindful, concentrated, and insightful. When you come to Plum Village as a practitioner of meditation, you cultivate the energy of mindfulness, concentration, and insight. And if you have these three energies, surely you can get in touch with God. Right in Plum Village. When you go home, you continue to get in touch with God. You know that when you stop thinking, when you breathe in mindfully and enjoy breathing in, you can already get in touch with God. Because when you breathe in like that, you enjoy breathing in, and you find out that breathing in is wonderful. As I breathe in, I know that I am alive. And to be alive is a wonderful thing. And as I breathe in, I become very alive. I see my body and my mind are wonderful. And I can get in touch with the sunshine, with the hills, with the sunflowers, with the water running from the water tap. And there are so many wonders of life in me and around me. And when I do walking meditation, I recognize that the path leading uphill through the wood is filled of wonders. The grass, the tiny flowers, the insect, the sunshine, everything is a wonder. A pebble, a leaf, a flower, a butterfly, everything is a wonder. And I can see God in everything. You can see God in a pebble, in a piece of dust, in a butterfly, in a sunflower. You can see God in the other fellow. And if you see God like that, you are a happy person. You do not want to do any harm to yourself. And you do not want to do any harm to the other people. Even if they are violent, even if they suffer because they have not been able to be in touch with God. But if they practice mindfulness, concentration, and insight, if they are mindful, concentrated, and insightful, they have a chance to realize that they are in the kingdom of God. We are really in the kingdom of God. And when we do walking meditation, we walk in the kingdom of God. If you do walking meditation correctly, you see that you are walking in the kingdom of God. And if the kingdom is there, God is there also. So you can get in touch with God and the kingdom of God with every breath and every step. And that is what I do during walking meditation. And there are monks, nuns, and lay practitioners who are able to do so. Enjoy the kingdom of God. It means to enjoy God. So to me, God is not an abstract idea, but something very real that you can encounter in every moment of your daily life. Your body belongs to the kingdom of God. Your mind also. That flower, that stream of water, that tree, they all belong to the kingdom of God. And it's too bad if we are caught in our anger, in our fear, in our jealousy, that we cannot get in touch with the kingdom of God. And if we don't know how to get in touch with the kingdom of God and with God, and then our life will we waste our life. So in Brahma we learn to walk in such a way, to sit in such a way, to eat in such a way, to take a shower in such a way that we can get in touch with the wonders of life that belong to the kingdom of God. And I will tell you, everything belongs to the kingdom of God, including this lotus flower, including this little boy. And we should continue to learn in order to understand this more deeply. Thank you.
So I think this is very beautiful to listen to, because many times things happen in our outer situation when we are caught in the middle of like the anger or something really upsurging, disturbing us. And if we remember to root the mind in the present moment, no matter if if parallelly a ripple of anger is arising, even if it is arising, because it will arise, the patterns are so hard. And parallelly, if we can root the mind in the present moment and give that present moment the rooting and so many things, other conditions of happiness that are there, we see that the anger loses grip over us. So it like went shoo up and then it just goes down because we don't give it any importance. And in that, we whatever, even words we speak or decisions we have to take, it's better taken in that state of being rather than being very angry, agitated, and where we really lose our mind and we don't know what is right, what is wrong. So this roots again and again, this practice of mindful breathing, mindful walking, bringing the mind home in the body. And as he was sharing, that we are in the kingdom of God. And when we contemplate over that, we feel a contentment within, that Yes, there is progress to be made, but we don't have to really become agitated and restless over every little thing that we do from time to time. So if the ripple has arisen, we can just let it go, let it pass. Don't not to follow its dictates for a long time. That's also a choice. So in this, we step back from our ego pattern. And the more we step back or keep on stepping back from the ego patterns, that why the things did not happen the way I wanted, the more we keep stepping back, we remain in the kingdom of God when the mind is home in the body. And we will see that whenever anger is arising or these disturbing emotions arise, one thing which happens, which one can become conscious of, that we lose the connection with the breath. We are totally lost in what that person said, and how dare he said that, or this and that. Why did this not happen? We are so lost that the mind has left, as if the connection of the breath and the body, the mind is not home. And when the mind is not home, it's not restful, and when it's not restful, we do things which can be averted, but they add on to our more and more karma and baggage. Yeah, so I think this is, for me, this is very helpful to again and again reiterate, to keep the rooting of the mind with mindfulness of the breathing, bringing it back to the body, with sensing the body, becoming aware of bodily sensations, bodily sense perception, so that the mind remains home and not entangled in the forest of thought. Yeah, anything here? Anyone? Right. So I think let us take up all these things as challenges, that are there in our lives, and uh, which will I give priority to, the mindfulness or wanting to make myself right. I think there we can take baby steps forward. Yes, Rashmiji.
Namaste.
Namaste.
I'm connecting after a long time, actually. So again, it's a wonderful
Yeah.
time spent here. Really, I felt meditative after going through Mother's wonderful prayer and also that 8 minutes lecture conversation. For me particularly, let me just tell you the situation I am in. How to keep that remembrance always. For me, that is the not problem exactly. That is the thing I encounter nowadays, because grace is always there with me. I feel whenever I turn towards the mother, I feel she's always there, helping me out in my difficulties. She listens to me. But during the days, when the work is so much, after the day is over, I remember that I have not really surrendered her. And things are happening for the better. But the central point is that how to keep that flame burning within the heart. If you can put your thoughts on this, because that prayer is so wonderful. To know that is our sole aim of life, and to live for her, that is our sole aim. But how in our day-to-day activities, how to keep that flame burning and at the same time catering to the external activities. So maybe we all go through certain stages of life. So this is just one phase which I'm encountering.
Mm.
So maybe she will be taking me through all this, and maybe a time comes when when she's all the time she's within me, or I am within her, and all the activities are happening, and I am at complete felicity all the time. So maybe that time will come. I don't know. So your thought on this, how to keep that flame burning all the time?
Hmm.
Yeah.
I think it's a beautiful, first of all, question, because all of us think about it that, yeah, off and on it happens, but then I forget. Yeah. And there can be many, many ways, again, on reflecting upon this. But what comes to me right now when you talk about it is, firstly, somebody had asked this from the mother. I think regarding maybe playing, if I'm not wrong, sports, that like, mother, I remember you when I am relatively relaxed, but when I'm playing intensely, for example, lawn tennis or something, then I don't remember you in those moments. So mother said, completely okay. In the beginning, and this beginning is long for all of us. In the beginning, mother said that whenever you have empty times, you remember me then. Don't try to remember me when you are actively playing lawn tennis, and you may lose your concentration and focus, maybe at, it can happen. So that's what mother suggested. I'll find the exact anecdote if I find it. Maybe Jishnuji would have remembered this one. So this is one suggestion by the mother, that whenever we get empty times, and we do get empty times, if from, no matter how busy we may be, we get breathers in between. Yeah, Rashmiji?
No, yeah, you are right. Yes, you are right. You are right.
So in those breathers that we get, either of 1 minute, 2 minute breather, when I'm drinking water, maybe I'm going to the loo, washroom, these are breathers for us, even if in the middle of a very hectic schedule. So then, rooting the mind with the mother, or rooting the mind for others with the breath, bringing the mind home in the body, those moments can be used. So that when we rise up to work after those 1-2 moments, then it's a transformed mind. It's not a thakahara mind which was continuing earlier. So
Absolutely.
it has taken a like a dip in the holy Ganges within. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's so true.
Yeah.
So true. And you don't believe actually this 44 minutes, how it completely made me peaceful.
Mm.
Because simply taking the mother's name also, it has its
Yeah.
wonderful effect
Yeah.
in body and mind.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I think this is how, one way we can slowly, slowly, slowly proceed, and also giving more importance to the inner work happening through the outer hectic, busy schedule. This is what the prayer was about. That not
Yeah,
giving overt, overt importance to the outer work,
outer
knowing,
work.
yeah, knowing that the even the outer work is a facilitation of the inner work happening.
Yes,
So that then brings the focus back, as in this prayer mother was, suggesting us, that bringing the focus back, that what is the most important thing for which we are having this human birth. It's not the outer work, it's not earning money.
yes,
Earning money may happen on the way, but if even after earning money and having the busy schedule, the inner sadhana is not happening, that's why mystics have said it's a waste of human life.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Superb. Mm. I really feel blessed again to connect with all of you.
Yeah, good to have you back. Yeah.
All her grace actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
All her grace.
Yeah. Anything else, Sardaji, Shweta?
Very, very beautiful, Monica. Actually, when I read this prayer in the afternoon, I was just wondering. First time I felt, usually when I read the prayer, like every word resonates, and this time I felt there was a distance. oh my God, oh my God, like what? I mean, it's a long journey, like such me, I felt ki to reach, what mother is saying in this prayer is like, but now when I was listening to you, I did feel like, a solace, and like, I could return back, because maybe, it's just that, like, yeah, okay, in empty times, you remember the divine, and somewhere deep down, it's, the remembrance is there, but so that made me feel good. But when I was reading the prayer, I was like, mother, like, please keep me by your feet, like, because it's a long, long way to go to reach what mother's saying. I felt like बहुत लंबी journey.
Yeah. And I think लंबी जर्नी का तब पता नहीं लगता when we begin to enjoy each moment, as you were sharing in earlier, Simbat. So if we enjoy this path of progress, if we enjoy this path of unification with the divine, if we enjoy remembering the mother, that's why divine mother is love. So if we fall in love with remembering the mother, if we fall in love with mindful breathing, I think then we are happy. It may take a long time, but it's a joyous ride. We are growing in consciousness. We are growing through each and every presentation in outward circumstances. So then it becomes a joy. Although that joy is full of intermittent turmoils, because progress can never come without discomfort. The aspect of progress is always full of discomfort. We can have no progress without undergoing turmoils and disturbances and discomforts, because when we are settled in old patterns, and now we have to push ourselves from those old patterns and get out of those grooves, it causes an unsettlement, and unsettlement is discomfort. So that's why, Alokdai also, in one of the prayers he was sharing, prayers or talks, he was sharing that we very much resonate with the aspect of peace or love in divine, but the aspect of progress in divine, that is something which is very challenging to take up, because we are so comfortable in our zones and the way we are, that we fall into this inertia of being who we are, and takes a many lifetimes before we become ready. So if we are happy to go through discomfort, that yet it will cause me pain, it will cause me some unsettlement, but mother, I am happy to go through discomfort, as you were sharing, that keep me by your side. So make me progress if you will, and I would not complain over these discomforts that would be caused. Without discomforts, no progress happening. So one has to go through, just like labor pain has to happen for a new birth. So continuing labor pains have to happen for our infinite number of new births. We can't avoid that discomfort.
So beautiful.
Yeah, Sardaji, you were saying something?
Yeah, Monica. Yeah, see, in day-to-day activities, when we are cooking or we are taking bath or cleaning, so we know that we have to do all those things. But today morning, I just, did a small experiment with myself. Usually I'll have some, talk, either alokas or your, the sessions. I'll keep it on the kitchen countertop and I'll be cooking, or I'll do everything listening to that. Today I was thinking, see, without anything, can I be with what I'm doing? So I found, it was a bit, but whether am I with myself or is my mind going out? What I'm doing? Physically, I'm doing some activity, but innerly, I wanted to understand what my mind is saying. Am I thinking of the mother, or am I thinking of what I'm doing? Am I concentrating? but it was, some 10 minutes of test which I gave to myself. But maybe 2 minutes I was with myself. Other times I could understand that I'm not with what I'm doing. My mind was just jumping. Oh, I have to do this. I have to do that. Oh, they have to come. All that, so many thoughts, ocean of thoughts were, coming to me. So I was feeling very bad. What is this? See, what is the use, see, attending all the satsang and all the classes, attending every day at 7 o'clock should give me some progress. That's, I should make use of it. So, which was, very interesting to watch myself. Maybe today for 2 minutes, tomorrow maybe I'll progress. I don't know, but it was interesting to watch myself. So I wanted to share this experience.
Beautiful. I think that's a wonderful challenge. And one must, from time to time, rid oneself of all the crutches, if we can say, that we are using, and see what is the state of being. And this ability to, look at the mind, where is it going, and then bring it back to the here and now, and then see that again it jumps back, and then to bring it back. I think this is also part of sadhana, very important part of sadhana. So I am very, very glad to hear your experiment.
Thank you, Monica. So maybe I can try every day sometime. I can
Yeah,
test my.
one must. Yes, absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
definitely, if there is improvement, definitely we'll be very glad. If there is not improvement, we have to improve ourselves. That is also.
Yeah.
Initially, I fixed my mind. If you are not able to concentrate, it's okay. Don't feel bad. It's okay. You can learn. I talked to myself today morning. I was, laughing at myself after that.
That's
What
why
is-
mother says, there is so much circus going inside. Who needs entertainment outside? Yeah, true.
But all your sessions helped me a lot. Thank you so much for
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. It's all Mother's grace to be part
Yes.
of
Yes.
this
Very
journey.
true.
Yeah.
And
And thank you all. Yeah.
I think that awareness, has just started in all of us because of all these sessions. I also feel like when I'm like just pondering, I feel that when I was reading the prayer in the afternoon, yes, I felt that अरे बाबा मतलब outside world doesn't matter कुछ नहीं and only thee am I there like this prayer do I feel it from the heart ki only thee and nothing else and but this is so silly like a childhood thing because when you look back at your journey and just now while Sarda ji was talking I was just thinking and I feel in the outside world is so much with the divine because like that subtle shifts that have happened like अब अगर thought भी किसी के बारे में कुछ आ गया ना immediately the second thing is ho'oponopono I do or tonglen ये सब it's become a second thing कि at that moment even if you're not able to control your thoughts or it just goes and you feel कि अरे ये क्या हो गया या you feel troubled by somebody the next moment you are able to get a hold of yourself and immediately shift the energy so ये है but वो ये if I think that outside world still matters yeah that's true but also that divine is holding your hand and like taking you there so it goes together I think yeah I just got this understanding while I was sharing yes
Beautiful. Yes.
Very true, Shweta ji. Yeah. It's, by sharing, we'll understand more of ourselves, through another somebody else's experience. This sharing is very good. Yeah. So as Shweta ji was sharing, after 2 minutes, if our mind goes out, we are able to see that, your mind is not with yourself, it is going out. So at least in some way, through breath or calling the mother, mama, mama, but it is, there is a difference between, how I was before and how I am now. It's beautiful journey. Thank you so
yes
much.
Thank
I
you.
agree yeah
Yeah.
yeah thanks Monica
Kabir says in one of the couplets, to keep us grounded, he says, मन को मृतक जान के मत कीजे विश्वास, साधु तब तक भय भय करे जब तक पिंजर में सांस. So he says that if your mind seems a bit tamed or maybe dead, seemingly dead, like behaving like dead, don't believe. He says that the true sadhak would be vigilant of the activity of the mind, which Sarda ji, Shweta was sharing. The activity of being vigilant, where is it going, and again and again bringing it back to the here and now. The true sadhak would be vigilant of the activity of the mind as long as he has breath in the body. So, as Shweta was sharing, that the journey is really long, and also long because what happens in one moment I am Kabir, in another moment I am my ego, in one moment I am fully immersed with the mother, in another moment ego jumps back. So that's why never to lose a track of the vigilance, because ego never dies. That's very important thing for me to realize, because since if there is a mirage on the way you are walking, and you see there is a mirage, when we go by road we see dur se lagta है that there is water there. Now that mirage can never die because it is not there. What can die? That which is there maybe can die, right? But mirage can never die. It can only make it appear that it's not there, and then it can just again show itself. So ego is something like that. It never dies. So never being fully sure of, we are not fully sure of right now, but I'm just kind of grounding ourselves there, that no matter how much progress we may make, vigilance is forever, forever, forever required, because the mind slips into the old patterns moment we slip away from the breath or calling the mother. It slips back into the forest of thought because old habits die hard. So this is a very good practice, and thank you for sharing this, that from time to time whenever we can do this experiment, that just noticing, and if the mind wanders away in the thought, Deepa Ma, one of the teachers, Buddhist teachers, she shares, if the mind wanders away, tell yourself wandered away, and bring it back to the breath, or as you were saying, some mantra or mother's name. Simply, not judging, not commenting on it, that why did it go again, and I am just like that, not going to those thoughts and further entangling. She says very simply, noticing, okay, the mind is lost in thinking, bringing it back here in the now, resting there. Very simply. So this practice, whenever mind wanders away, bringing it back to the mother's name or the here and now, I think this is a very good challenge that we must give ourselves. So yes, thank you for bringing it forward. Yeah. And mother says that this is the true test, when the inner reality becomes more concrete than the outer happenings. This is the true progress in sadhana. That things may be happening in outer area where I can think and get lost, but what am I giving importance to? This centering with the mother, rooting myself. So all the decisions will be taken from that space within, because that reality is more concrete now. So more power to each one of us. Thank you everyone.
Thank you. Thank you so
Bye.
much.
Thank you. Thanks
Thank
a
you.
lot,
Thanks.
everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you.